For the first time in near 40 years, Kent State plays Kansas, but the Jayhawks have never been to Kent, Ohio. We want to make sure that they don't pick up a single win in Kent, continuing a dominant offensive performances, but it's the defense under scrutiny. So far this year, Kent State is giving up the most amount of points per game in the Big 12, tied with Iowa State at 29. Now, it is not the worst when it comes to national teams, that is Western Michigan, but we don't want to be compared to Western Michigan. We want to be compared to those we play, and that is Big 12, and we are giving up by far more points. We are allowing the sixth most amount of yards per game. That is largely due to the lack of pass defense. 1,124 yards. Meanwhile, we are giving up just about 350 rushing. While we can't blame the pass rush, it is tied for second here in the Pac-12. We still could use more from our actual defensive linemen. About a sack and a half for the down linemen. If it wasn't for Zayden Walker, we would not have many sacks. But prior to this game, Coach did announce some changes, and it starts with Derek Jackson III, the junior corner. He has some really solid coverage ability. However, the problem is he's been getting beat by just pure speed. And for Key Crowell, who's kind of been that third corner coming into play outside corner in nickel and dimes, he lacks a little bit of that coverage ability, primarily in zone, but he is faster. So against the Jayhawks, Crowell will be the primary number 2 corner, taking over for Jackson. But Coach Ty's also going to throw Clinton Robertson into a little bit of the mix for the cornerback room. He's been starting at strong safety, and he showed some good signs. He's got good zone coverage. The man leaves a little bit to be desired, but there's some press ability, and he's just a little bit faster than Jackson. So the plan is, it will be Rollison on the right. It'll be Key Crowell on the left in the base packages. But when we switch to a nickel or dime, Robinson will be moving to the slot corner spot, and Jackson will drop to the safety spot, and hopefully that just gets a little bit more speed where it has to be. And hopefully for us, that provides a bit better defense facing Kansas, who hasn't necessarily played a big-time opponent, but they did put 80 points up on FCS Midwest, 28 in the fourth and third alone. Our defense is going to have to stop Tristan McMillan, the redshirt junior quarterback from Hawaii. He's closing in on 1,000 yards passing, 15 touchdowns to just 1 interception. They've got a strong running back, team captain in Dwayne Byrne, and they are spreading the ball out to the receiving groups as well as getting the tight end in Moeller well involved. But as for the offense, we've got a man ready to take the field in Heisman leading candidate, Mason Kelsay. He's put up big-time stats in both the passing and rushing yards in his 3 years here with Kent State. And he is finally receiving the recognition that he rightfully deserves. And perhaps if he wins this, if he doesn't go to the NFL, maybe we'll see a boost to some ratings. But as we take the field facing the Jayhawks for the first time since 1989, all eyes are going to first be on Mason Kelsay, as Heisman does take this return pretty well up to the 21, considering he started back in the end zone. Harris down after that play, clutching at his knee. Not a good sign. Hopefully we'll get a good update on him later, but right now your Heisman hopeful and Mason Kelsay takes the field. And saying he and the offense have been a fun thing to watch is really an understatement. There's a triple option. Full swing here, though. Kansas ready for it. LaShawn Smith with a great open field tackle. Kent State loses one to start the game. Hard count there from Kelsay. No one jumps at it. Tries to buy some time here and gets taken down. A spinning tackle, Jordan Robinson. No one quite able to break open there for the Golden Flashes, and it leaves a 3rd and now 19 this time. Definite movement. No flag as he is back on side. And a high point ball into triple coverage is picked off. Mason Kelsay throws the interception on the third play of the game. A panic ball from the Heisman hopeful. And Kansas will start inside the red zone. Not what you have come to expect from Mason Kelsay, who has played a pretty clean last couple seasons. McMillan takes the field and hands this one off to Burns. Down the middle, he finds one. That's already about 20 more yards than Kent State has, as they lost a bunch of yards their opening drive. Going back to Burns here, spinning off of Walker and Nelson, but contained by Robinson. He's played pretty well at that safety spot, which is why coach didn't make that permanent change. As he does shift down to the slot corner role here, Jackson playing deep. Facing the blitz here, McMillan leaks out and dives down. Kansas nearly finds the end zone there. Not for the true freshman, forcing the slide. Goal to go, though, here for Kansas. Is off the back of the left tackle. And we'll take that pass breakup because we haven't necessarily gotten too many of those this season. Second and goal. It's Burns getting rocked. Balin Williams shaking up for Kansas on the play, but give it up for Jackson. A great play. And his first play made from that safety spot. Hopefully, this change will be what this team needed. As they do go Burns, it's outside and he has it. Blackwell unable to keep contain, as it looked like the defense was anticipating a play action roll to the left side. Instead, Burns takes it on the ground and gives Kansas the lead. And it's going to be vitally important here to see how Mason Kelsay responds. Typically, he's done very well following a turnover. Will that continue as they do go RPO? It's out to Katula. He's got the first down, about a gain of 11. Frankly, it's a rarity here for Kent State not to go with a triple option there on the first play of a drive. First and 10 here as Dupree motions out a little RPO setup. Yazzie does cough that ball up. Mason Kelsay scoops it up. Well, that's going to be a massive loss on first down. Second and 18, second time they've had a down, needing 18. So look to set up the screen. This time it's out to Yazzie. He's just got to hold on to it. About the 40-yard line. He will pick up a good chunk. In total, call that about a gain of 12, though leaves a 3rd and 6. Hard count this time. The offensive lineman will shift to ensure the refs call this flag. On that previous drive, the third down where Kansas picked it off, they did have a lineman jump, but he was back on side before the snap, so no flags on it. 3rd and 1, it's triple option, pitched out late as Kelsay was corralled. Yazzie's gonna lose on the play. Kansas has been all over that triple option. The offense stays on the field here, the 43-yard line. Kelsay tries that hard count, no one flinches. Quick over the middle is through the hands of Heisman. It's a turnover on downs here. This is the roughest start we have seen from Kent State's offense in quite some time. Defense, though, with a good fill from Sneed as Balin Williams once again shaken up, clutching at that left knee, trying to fight through the pain here. Got to give some credit there, but at some point, you got to make sure you stay healthy. Loss of 1 on the play, tackle by Sneed. It's 2nd and 11. They do look to go to the air here. Good pressure down the middle. It is Nelson. He's had a couple really good games this season. Was quiet in their last game against Akron. But picking up the sack there and forcing a 3rd and 18 for Kent State this time, not on the bad side of it. We'll take that. As Kansas looks to go everyone deep. One-on-one, deep right and broken up Rollison. McMillan nearly had the touchdown. Defense comes through with a big stand as Kansas still is in front here. 7-0. Yazzie on that triple option. Kansas clearly has done their homework. That was a play, probably should have handed that one off inside to Dupree. Caught this time, it's Lupke, the true freshman. Before Kent State, they've got to show that they can convert these downs here. 3rd and 4, and they've gotten about 2 through just the hard count of Mason Kelsay. Carnegie that time jumps off for Kansas. Fresh set of downs here for the Golden Flash, and they've got to figure out this defense. On paper, by far, Kent State is the favorite team, obviously coming in here ranked 16. Kansas not ranked inside the top 25. But still, pretty big note. And they continue to just be unfazed by all of this early motion movement options. Defense is coming through right now for the Jayhawks. Can they get one more stop here? Third down, and Dupree has just enough. Kent State going to go a bit hurry up off of it here. We got to find a way to stretch out this defense because right now they are stacking the box safeties inside 10 yards. Kelsay throws left side. He finds Ivan carrying quick. And they'll look to continue going with their hurry-up attack here. Trying to just get a little bit of some momentum on their side. And this will be an end around here for Katula. Blocks do open up. He's got the first down. A couple extra hits at the end. But if they could just find a way to stitch a few of these good plays together, get a full drive going here. We've got this offense back in full attack. Rolling out and throwing out off the fingertips. That is a big miss for Martin. Running back number 3 in the first quarter comes to a close. No points for Kent State. It's been a long time since that's happened. They have negative 12 rushing yards. But if not for the short drive that Kansas was given earlier, they wouldn't have many yards either, just 12 rushing. Right now, Kent State does host the most amount of yards with the passing game. As we get into the second quarter, imagine we're going to have to see a whole lot more of that passing game to try to open things up here. For the flashes, though they miss. Not a good start here for Mason Kelsay as the pressure of the Heisman getting to it. 3rd and 10 here. Lofting this one out for Heisman. He drops another. He's been arguably the most sure-handed receiver. Now 4th and 10 here. The offense stays on the field. They try one hard count. No one jumps. They try the second and a lot more movement here on splitting both sides of the line. Offense right side, defense left, but it looks like Robinson crossed first. Now by no means is that a first down here, but it does make things more manageable and a little bit more sense to keep the offense out here. Kelsay again tries that hard count. No one jumps, so they do look to snap it. Outside, and he overthrows Lupke for yet another turnover on downs. The defense was struggling the last 2 games. Right now, they're the only side to have shown up. McMillan and Kansas back on the field. Throw is outside and broken up. Key Crowell. He transferred in not last year, but the season prior to. Didn't see much playing time last year. Trying to take advantage of the opportunity. Another pass downfield, and he's going to pick it off this time. Defense is showing up, and the change made by Coach Ty is keeping them in this ball game because right now the offense surely is not. But if there's a time to have your defense finally show up, it's in a game where the offense has yet to show up. Interception, Key Crowell. We take over at the 15-yard line. 1st and 10. And it's back to that triple option this time. Yazzie, he's got space outside, gets the juke by, and he's going to pick up a good gain. Play 1. If they can continue to get that triple option well mixed in here, that's going to be the key to success for this offense. To look to set up a screen, it's out to Dupree. He's got a convoy in front. The power back with the sideline. Kamara bumps him out at the 44. Right now, you can feel some momentum building here for Kent State. They've got to take advantage of it. 1st and 10. It's Yazzie down the middle. He busts through for a gain of about 8. And Kansas clearly still sticking with a tight box here. As long as the blocks show up, he can still make some big things happen. Yazzie, 1st down. He's seen a lot of success early this season. We'll see how much that continues on here. The 1st and 10. It's pitched back. That's Martin. He dropped a pass earlier, but this time it's an easy catch on the pitch and a 1st down. Kent State building here. It's looking good, approaching the red zone. The 1st and 10 at the 23. Katula in motion. Flip it out his way. He's got a blocker downfield and finds the gap to the end zone. It took a while to get going here, but Kent State finally finds that end zone. 7-6 look for the PAT to tie this game up. They just needed to get the turnover on defense to finally spark that offense. Let's hope that the team keeps building off of that momentum. McMillan has also not had a great game to start either. Burns, who takes the carry here, he looks to get outside. Sneed stayed step for step with the man and shuts that down on the outside. You give him credit for about half a yard gained at 2nd and 9. McMillan goes with the check down. Lawrence will have about 4 or 5 yards. For Kansas, it sets them up with a 3rd and 4. They've had a short field, which they capitalized on, but they haven't been able to move the ball downfield themselves. See if they can find something here. As McMillan waits and then slips one, only to be taken down by the other. Dips under Blackwell. Chabera, though, wraps him up, taking him down and forces that punt. It'll be a short field for Kent State's offense. Coming off a touchdown drive. They start at the 48-yard line. A little bit of some more RPO here. Yazzie does not get the block he needed. Kristen Jernigan, the thumper linebacker of the Jayhawks, makes the play. It's a loss of 1 on 1st down. RPO not paying off that time. They go back to an RPO. This time Ivan Carrion. He's got some speed, and he's got the 1st down. There's a man you want to see step up this year. It is Ivan Carrion. That catch and run sends him over 1,500 career receiving yards. Big year for him, a lot of opportunity. As they're back to that triple option, it's out to Yazzie. He'll get forward for a couple. Kansas, though, being very stingy on some of these triple options. Really all the options, RPOs, read options. Yazzie here on a traditional handoff will have another couple. For Kent State, that leaves it a 3rd and 6 here. Kelsay checking the line here. Tries that hard count, no offers at it. Throws once again, finding Lupke. He's got a big 1st down for Kent State inside the red zone. So far, this is more targets than the freshman has received throughout the entirety of the season, it feels like. 1st and 10. Rolling, throwing high and out of bounds. Again, Kelsay looking for Lupke. 2nd and 10, just outside the 2-minute warning. It's Dupree. Even the quick handoffs aren't finding much space. Maybe 1-2 on the play takes us inside the 2-minute break. The 3rd and 8. Make that a little bit shorter as again, Kelsay draws off the eager defense. That's the 2nd time today Carnegie has been called, crossing that neutral zone. So 3rd and 3. Kelsay keeps, and he's going to take this one right down the gut into the end zone. So he's not going to hand the ball off down the middle, but that's not going to stop him from running down the middle himself. Kent State in front here for the first time today against the Jayhawks. 14-7. Your Heisman hopeful with another touchdown. For McMillan and his Jayhawks, that does leave them just about 2 minutes, 1:55 to work with here. As they start with Burns, good tackle on the edge. Not sure if it's just a mismatch in coverage or what. Perhaps the change is working out very successfully for Coach Ty. But the defense looks far improved, though the linebackers misstep and leave a bunch of space for Burns down the middle. Kansas will burn a timeout following that run. They didn't have to. Clock would have stopped there for a moment as the change reset. They go back to Burns, so clearly he's their man. The passing game has really not been there. They're trying to find extra ways to get Burns the ball as he's had some very successful plays over the middle. Big hit Sneed. Wasn't a bad read, though, from the quarterback as Sneed was looking to drop in coverage. Just made a great adjustment. Leaves a 3rd and 2 here. Facing the blitz, McMillan meets Chabera for the 2nd time today. And now Coach Ty's calling that timeout. Just under a minute to go here in the first half. Well, as we follow up after the punt here, it's just 48 seconds to work with. 2 timeouts. You're on your side of the line. So you got to find a way to get that ball downfield here as it's going to be a check down to Katula. Oh, that one about a gain of 4. You lose some time, but you do at least stop that clock getting out of bounds. Going with some play action here over the middle. Martin now finally catches that one, and that's going to be pretty close. Actually well inside field goal range. Refs mark it at the 32-yard line here. Curtis could hit from this distance, but now with a timeout, you're considering might be end zone opportunities here. As Heisman gets the grab, he's going to be short. So they're going to have to go hurry up here to get back to that line as quickly as possible. In just that one timeout in their back pocket. Kelsay has them, and he's going outside. Short. Well short. Typically, if you got a receiver who's 6'6", you leave that one high. Apparently not the case here for Mason Kelsay. Pass might have just slipped by him. And he throws a second pick. It gets by Katula. Good attempt on the return, just not much yardage. Trying to find the first down there on the quick stop. Kent State doesn't run a whole lot of quick stops, and clearly that one was not practiced very much. But Kansas won't get aggressive there. They'll just take this one to halftime. An interesting first half for Kent State. Their defense playing their best game by far. They're getting pass rush. They're covering well out there, something we have not seen this season. But something we haven't seen this season is the struggles of Mason Kelsay. 2 first-half interceptions. One more his fault rather than the other. Katula just didn't see the ball coming. Great play from the secondary. But all in all, the offense just definitely did not feel smooth in that first half. Again, perhaps all of the media talking about the Heisman candidacy getting to their head. I'm sure Coach Ty will settle him down. He's been around a lot of Heisman winners in his time. Not a winner himself, but quite a few big names under Coach Barrington with a great tackle, Walker. You got guys like Sony Fotu, Cassius Sampson, Nathan Henderson, all edge rushers, all Heisman winners. Coach Ty has seen success, and he's seen how to handle it, so expect him to settle down his quarterback and team as McMillan scrambles, weaving, carving up the defense. Plays like that, Kansas is going to need a lot more here from their star quarterback. Getting them up to the 33-yard line here, one of their biggest offensive plays of the game, and they're going to find another one here, all the way to the sideline. Jason Bequette, just on the simple handoff there. Defense was not prepared, and Blackwell has not done a great job this year holding that edge. As they go now to the fullback, maybe even tight end on a strict handoff. In a one-score game, you definitely can stick with a running game for sure, and it's worked out more than the passing game has so far today for McMillan. As he tries to buy some time here, well, that time pass rush doesn't show up. He's able to find some space down the middle. And they're going to keep with the hurry-up attack here. Right now, it's working successfully for the Jayhawks. Motion pre-snap, it's Burns. There's a good fill, Walker. He's continuing the legacy here of really good transfer linebackers coming in. Obviously, Coach Ty, a former linebacker himself with Stanford. Burns, another great carry for him. The Jayhawks with a 3rd and inches. They do spread wide, but they hand this ball off. Burns through Robinson down to the 15. Coach Ty not calling any timeouts here. He's just got to trust his defense to step up here, get a stop inside the 15. A little bit longer of a pre-snap here to catch their breath. The linebacker blitzed well but didn't get the tackle. And Jamichael Keene shaken up here for the Jayhawks, a second offensive lineman to go down for him. When they're clearly trying to set up the run game here and establish it in the second half, that's a big miss. We'll see him switch to a spread empty look to follow. McMillan under pressure, and Nelson fights through the blocks for his 2nd sack of the game. McMillan feeling the heavy weight coming crashing down on him. By no means is that a dig at Nelson. He's one of the smallest of our defensive tackles. 3rd and 15 here. Kent State trying to stand. And the Jayhawks looking to go to the air here. Pressure, and Blackwell finally gets that sack. It's the 5th on the day for Kent State. Pushing them back to the 28, still inside field goal range. But with how well that drive was shaping up for Kansas, if they hit this, it's still going to be a little bit of a disappointment. About a 45-yarder, as this is just outside the 35 and trails just inside that left upright. A close one, but good for the Jayhawks. If you're Coach Ty, following such a long, methodical opening drive there from Kansas, you would really want to try to settle this game down. Mason Kelsay is going to take that triple option right into 2 defenders. Perhaps taking a few hits in this one will correct whatever sort of weird play he's been on in that first half. He sure does love some contact. Yazzie down the middle too. He's got a first down. That play looked pretty well stopped up down the middle. He just kept those legs chugging. Good push there at the end as well. Kent State is chewing up a little bit of some clock here. Throwing into a tight window, just can't sneak it by. Sanders, the linebacker, just gets a fingertip on it to tip it away from Lupke. Another target for him in this one. Triple option does come out a little bit late. Yazzie with maybe one at best. Despite the strong start to this drive, a 3rd and long here for the Flashes, who again get a man to jump off sides, though he's back onside as that snap is had. And throws off of the helmet there. He might have been trying to find Yazzie. Either way, it's a punt. Kansas has done a pretty good job of getting pressure on those 3rd and longs here. Now their offense with a chance to take a lead here. They have not found a long offensive drive. Touchdown, and Simon! Can't believe he dropped that one. Would have been his easiest interception. He had one in the previous game, his first of his career. Going to Burns here. He looks to get this one outside. Sneed's all over him. Now you just got to make sure you finish this drive off here with a 3rd and 11. McMillan, he's found some success in the second half running the ball here. Might have to look to do so. Takes the hit and, frankly, misses the interception. I do believe that was Walker who was just sat there lurking. Will get the ball here at the 47 following the punt. It's going to be Dupree. Handoff here from that triple option set. And it frankly just looked like there wasn't an option on that option set. Coach Ty said you hand that ball off to Dupree because Kelsay has not been doing that this year, though the offense hasn't really struggled outside this game. Rolling here and throwing outside. He misses another. Very uncharacteristic here for Mason Kelsay to be missing this many throws. He's been clean for the last about year and a half. Taking this one downfield, though, he finds a lane, the last defender to keep him from the end zone. Catches him from the side. But a great run there, Kelsay. As we look to have just one last play here of the quarter, perhaps looking for that end zone. Kelsay towards the back corner, and he finds Catula. Check the feet. That looks good on Sundays. What a catch. And what a throw, Mason Kelsay under pressure. Talk about throwing it on a dime. 21-10 as we close out the 3rd quarter on an amazing touchdown pass. I still don't know how he was able to find Catula there, but we widen the lead here, headed to the 4th quarter. And in a game that has not seen a whole lot of good offense, you have to have good offense here if you're Kansas. Taking the field to start the 4th quarter at the 21. McMillan waits and throws outside. It's picked off. Robinson. I don't know if Kent State has had a multi-interception game under Coach Ty. If so, it's been quite some time. But we take over at the 33. It might be too early to say this, but I think the crowd agrees. The adjustment on defense is working perfectly. Play action here, rolling, throwing. Catula can't get this one. But I think the connection between Kelsay and Catula finally starting to work itself out here. As Dupree takes the handoff, he's got space down the middle, rumbling, bumbling to about the 13. This is just what we have to see when teams approach the triple option like we've seen from Kansas. You've got to find a way to reopen that. That's going to have to be by getting that inside handoff going. The speed option that time doesn't have that handoff, so they do still pick up 3. But a 2nd and 7 here at the 9. And it's Dupree. Didn't get the block there from Yazzie on Jernigan. You still pick up a good few down the middle and have a 3rd and 4 here. It's a go two spread either side, passes outside and covered well. Heisman finally holds on to the pass. Fortunately, it's just not going to be for a first down. He actually, I think, loses a yard. But 4th and 4, the offense stays out there, and Kansas gets the free rush off the edge. Risky call there from Coach Ty to go with that. He definitely could have just picked the field goal, take a 14-point lead here. Defense looks to get aggressive. McMillan throws over the middle, getting by the coverage to about the 28. First catch on the day, I believe, for Wolf. Now you got just under 6 minutes to play here. You're trailing by 11. Your defense just forced the turnover on downs. You got to come away with some points here. As they go to Burns with an explosive step outside. Rare to see that this late in the game from any running back who doesn't have those fresh legs. First down, Kansas. McMillan again, trying to buy some time here. looking to go somewhere. He finds his target. Short gain. But he did a fantastic job of just keeping that play alive. Pressure did finally get back there. Quarterback hit, I believe, was Chabera. Quick passes outside, and all over it is Wiley. We've seen some great run defense from Wiley, but that time, quick reaction on the pass. Leaves 3rd and 9 here for McMillan. Looks like man coverage across the board, and breaking that one up will force a 4th down. I believe that was Robinson playing that new slot role here in this game. Really panning out. 3rd and 9 here. Check that, 4th and 9 with a pass downfield off the fingertips of Jackson. But putting him in that safety spot seemed like the best spot for him on that play. Turnover on downs, we take over at the 39-yard line, and that ball's down and recovered by Kansas. More turnovers than we have seen in a single game from Mason Kelsay. I would not be surprised if he drops dramatically in that Heisman candidacy race. The pass a little bit behind, but caught by Burns, fighting every inch. This is turning into a little bit of a heated 4th quarter. A lot of big plays happening on both sides, though the score stays pretty much at the same spot. Downfield and dropped. Wolf, who's been their best receiver this year, not able to hold on. Can't necessarily say we broke that one up. Perhaps heard the footsteps of Zyman setting up the halfback screen and picking up about 4 to 5. We've seen probably the best game yet from Snead here today. We've called Walker's name a lot in games so far this year, but Snead has kind of taken over that spot in this one. 3rd and 6, 4 down territory. McMillan throws a perfect one. Any lower, Robinson is tipping that one, if not picking it off. 1st and 10 here, Kansas trying to draw this back to a 1-score game late in the 4th. Pressure Bobby Ellington forces the throwaway. You gotta love what you're seeing right now. Just in general, but the defense today has definitely played far better. They could use with some more pass rush, and before I could even say it, it hits home. 3rd on the day for Nelson. Looked like there was some confusion between the center and right guard. If I'm not mistaken, those are 2 backups in the game due to earlier injury. And a check down here. We'll pick up about half the yardage needed. 4th and potential gain here for Kansas. Looks like they're going to attack this from an empty set. And some weirdness up front. Does get a little bit of pressure, but not in time. 1st down. Again, you see Coach Titus letting his defense try to sort this out, saving those timeouts. He doesn't really like using them from what we've seen. McMillan looks to step up. He throws. Diving touchdown grab. Kansas back in this one as Stephen McKinney, as the quarterback got rocked by a couple defenders, dove out and secured the points. But don't go anywhere yet. 21-16. They need to make this a field goal game. Empty set versus the 46 defense. And there were too many players to cover. We've got a field goal game. 2:15 to go here in Kent, Ohio. Now, we've seen great plays made by the Kansas defense today. At the 18, the wing set. Kelsay snaps that ball. He's got carrying downfield. Lays it on him. 30, 20, breaking away. Touchdown. An emphatic answer coming from your Heisman hopeful, who has not had a Heisman level game today. But every time there's been that mistake, he has battled back. And after fumbling with that pitch when he was surrounded, he tosses the touchdown to the 50 to Ivan Carrion. And with his improved speed from the offseason, no one was going to catch the 6'6 receiver. And by no means is that the dagger, but if you're a Jayhawk, how's got to feel like one? 2 minutes to go and you are back down. 10 points here. Got to find a way to respond. Good broken up pass. Linebacker's about a half step behind of where you want them to be, but Walker punches it away. You got a 2nd and 10 here. Pressure builds. That one is out. Snead downfield. Breaks it up, intended for Burns. He's continuing his dominant performance here today. A game we needed everyone on this defense to step up. They go play action. And McMillan is going to take a chop down tackle. Jabara's gotten a few sacks on him in this one. He's 4th and game here for the Jayhawks. Everyone goes downfield, and Jackson almost has the interception. But it is a turnover on downs. They just got to waste these 3 timeouts for the Jayhawks. As it's going to be Dupree down the middle. Patient running pays off. Got a gain of 6. Kansas calls their first timeout following that run. 2nd and 2, so actually make that a gain of about 7.5 by the looks of it. First down, Jimmy Yazzie, and he's still rumbling almost to the end zone. Don't want to run in while you sure would like the points. You could just look to kneel this game away. Kansas, though, will do what they have to, calling that timeout. But with the following snap, we end this game, and what a game it was. Defense just allows 18 points, their best game by far, and they're still going to give the player of the game to Mason Kelsay. I mean, 250 passing yards there, 4 touchdowns. He obviously ran the ball a little bit. The mistakes were there. And it's good to see it in a game where you do still pick up the win, because you could try to clean that up, and you saw it from Coach Ty there, forcing more handoffs down the middle to Dupree, opening up some options for this offense. But it's this defense you've got to give a whole lot of credit to. Tim Snead, as we talked about, it was his best game by far. 9 tackles for him led the day. He also had 2 for a loss. In terms of TFL leaders, that went to Seth Nelson. And prior to this game, I was considering even potentially taking him out, trying out the true freshman. But he showed up with 3 sacks in this one. A massive game from him. Jabara, massive game. We need to see more, quite honestly, from Theodore Blackwell. He shows up for a couple plays a game. Kind of feels a little lackadaisical. If we had some extra guys who maybe could fill in that spot, I would consider it. But I don't want that to sour a great defensive performance. Clinton Robinson filled in his well very well. Key Crowell as well. Both got an interception. And honestly, Jackson looked pretty good filling in at that safety role. He almost had 2-3 interceptions in this game. A great job from this defense. And I've talked a lot about not getting a lot of pass breakups. We racked those up in this one. The boys earned themselves a bit of a breather coming off that game before we meet Kansas State next time. Now, in this bye week, it is an important week. One of our top targets is coming on a visit. Now, we had to schedule this early because Syracuse had a week 6. And frankly, when I was looking at setting up the visit, the other options, can't see it here, but was be in, I think, week 10 and 11. And they only had 1 green arrow up if we won, 3 down if we lost. Now, I was hoping we could have set up a complimentary visit. Unfortunately, with who we are currently going after, the offensive linemen, they're not going to be complimentary for the tight ends. And while I have found a quarterback that we are making some weight on, the 1 5-star that we are able to go after in Darren Cleveland, we are nowhere close to having him available for that visit. So we're not going to get that complimentary, but we do very much need to make sure we are hitting here. We have a pretty good pitch. Really need this to be a good visit to give us that extra space, as Syracuse is making some headway. And it looks like we need to also be making some early headway here for the Sam linebacker in Gideon Imodu. Again, if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not, let me know in the comments below. But it looks like we do need to schedule a visit, and it looks like we'll be able to squeeze this in just before the others. But once again, it's not going to be during a game. And it looks like our best sell here might just be playing time. So we're going to pitch that. And perhaps he could be playing next to Snead next year, as Walker is going to be set to graduate. And for the gem corner that we've been looking at in Carlos Bibbs, while he does still need a couple of years to develop that skill set, the coverages are still low. The speed is at a better spot compared to a lot of other guys, so I very much want to make sure we are staying atop in this race. The visit is expensive right now, and Wake Forest is making some moves, so we're going to try to just add a little bit extra to the top. And for Roland Abrams, there are visits that are scheduled for him. I'm hoping we could try to close this one out before we get to the end. We might have to allocate a few more points his way, so we'll have to change some things. But I'm still hoping we land the number 7 safety. I am also keeping an eye on a couple guys here, receivers and running backs, though looks like one has already locked us out, so we'll go ahead and remove Jeremy Gage. But keeping an eye on these guys, they are 4 stars that have open recruiting right now, as no one else is going after them. But as we have to keep allocating points to these other battles, we don't quite have those other points available quite yet. But we will be back on Monday facing the Kansas State Wildcats. And if I'm not mistaken, these two teams have only ever met once before, 2011. And if I'm remembering my searches earlier, that is going to be a night game, 9 p.m. I think we got to wear a little bit of some black and white in that one. Change up a little bit of the uniforms. That's one good thing here about Kent State, is all the different uniform sets. If there is one you want to see, make sure you let me know in the comments below. And if you want to continue seeing the top Heisman candidates so far in Mason Kelsay, make sure you are sticking around, hitting that bear icon either in the bottom right corner or scrolling down, hitting that sub button. It's completely free. And I know a majority of people watching are not subscribed, so make sure you are subscribing and tapping that bell icon so you're notified when all these videos go live. And for the defense who stepped up today, make sure you smash a thumbs up for them to let them know that, hey, they did what they are expected to do, maybe even a little bit more with the improvement there from the secondary. We'll continue testing out that adjustment next time against the Wildcats. We'll see you there on Monday.